for anything east of the runway that complies with what we've spoken about in here, which possibly may include an already written plan from Castroville, so that we can bring it to the board and consider an operation that includes getting out of the OFA immediately.
I got one question. We're only singling Carroll out here. I mean, you got the tow planes that are out there setting their stuff up, and they have an idle cart. You're talking about you with your running the grass vehicles out there.
Those are not aircraft.
Well,
we got
I see his point, though.
That says vehicle.
We're focusing on
Says
Carroll right now, and there's a bunch of other issues.
Yeah.
It says vehicle.
Yeah. Well,
That's right.
Two things that we're doing now to address that. I've spoken with the Banner Tow people and made them aware that if there's an airplane other than their own coming to take off or land, the golf cart has to be outside the 250-foot area. The area that they're using to do that is just to the south of that drainage ditch, right out there. The rest of their objects meet the criteria of being no higher than 3 inches collapsible. For the lawn mowing operations, what Tammy and Mario have instituted is anytime Mario is going to mow inside the object-free area, he brings a notice to Tammy. She gives it to the FBO. Every time they give an airport advisory, they advise the airplane that there's mowing operations inside the OFA, and she puts it on the automated weather system.
But he's not meeting the guidelines of his flags and his safety requirements when he's out there, same way with the carts.
Yes, they are.
No, he's not.
I've already
don't
landed.
you have lights on the track, flashing on the tractor?
I didn't see them the other day.
No.
Excuse me.
We took them down
I-
last month and put the lights on.
I actually
The last time I
have
landed, it wasn't there, so.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up here in a minute. Carol, go ahead.
and I want to say apologies to you guys. I have not mentioned any of this stuff, but I actually, as recently as 4 days ago, have aerial photographs of them doing their business with parked aircraft, golf carts, and banners within the OFA. Now, if you're not going to require them to have a written plan of action, then why am I being asked to do that?
What I'm
And I'm not
asking
trying
for,
to pick on you guys, you know why? Because I don't think you're doing anything unsafe. I think it's business the way any reasonable and prudent person would understand it.
Well, we try to get in, get out, and we're out of the way. And
what I'm asking for,
we're not going to leave our airplane out there for 15 minutes.
Hold on.
Actually,
What I'm asking
that's
the
not
board
true.
for-
I mean, I'm not,
When
again,
did this happen, and who was out there?
it was the ag wagon, and I don't know, maybe we can read the banner. Do you want me
Okay,
to get the picture?
y'all can discuss this.
What I'm asking-
Well, Al, but
Al,
the point is, that why am I being asked to provide something that's above and beyond what other people are doing? I'm not trying to pick on these guys. What I'm trying to
I
ask
think
you...
you
guys work this
Thank you.
Bill, thank you for
Thank you,
coming
Bill.
with us.
Thank you.
Your own business here.
What I'm, Al, what I'm asking the board for is a requirement for operations east of our runway require that the proposer submit a written plan to the airport manager, who will submit it to the board, that addresses pedestrian safety, runway crossings, and any other identified cause for concern when the public is allowed into the operational areas and the runway safety area of the airport.
So that applies to
That
everybody.
applies to everyone,
Applies to
includes the
everybody.
banner.
Or simply comply with the requirement to get out of the OFA. If the Banner Tow people
That's all
want
I finished.
to haul their golf cart out here and then hand truck it into the area, their pieces happen to comply with the requirement that it be frangible and that it be less than 3 inches tall. The airplane doesn't. But the golf cart is an obstruction that has to stay out of the way. When somebody else lands other than you, they have to get out of the way.
At what point are they allowed to come out and set their equipment up?
They should stay out of, if there's somebody, they know.
Do you have that
just like
written
you
down, or
know.
are you just going to speak about this?
All of that is
my
related
plans
to
is to get on the
FARs,
grass,
that
period.
where you know when you're allowed onto an active runway and when you're not. I don't have to, those rules are all written.
Okay. Do we want to authorize the airport manager to give him the authorization to spend a certain amount of money for the culverts? If that turns out to be what we need to do.
I don't see where it's at. I agree.
Well, hang on. because that was why I asked the question earlier. With the construction coming, my hope is that we can allow the operations to go back to the grassy area, because we have shown by board action an intent to fix that area. I'm not sure I want to go to extraordinary expense very quickly.
But you're back into a violation if you do that.
But they're not talking about operations, they're talking about parking out there. Operations.
They can
But
operate in the grass now.
Yeah, they can operate all they want to. They can't
But we're
park.
landing and having to get out of the glider and do our rev up,
Staging.
rev down and all that on the, but if we
Parking
can move you to
spaces.
the grassy area.
Well, if I
They
go to the
can't.
grassy
We got
area
a
in order to
10-foot
park-
area is all we're talking about.
Exactly.
Let me finish. Do not interrupt me, because this is hard for me to do this. 10 foot we're talking. He already said that there's no ruling that is specific as to what constitutes a parked vehicle. We are trying to address a safety issue. I know for a fact Carol and Pete want to operate beyond description safely. And what we're doing now is less safe than if they were operating completely on the grassy
We
area.
agree with that.
And so that's why I said a while ago, if we show intent that we want to rectify the situation and fix the ditch line by board action, our timeline doesn't necessarily mean we have to do it next week. In my mind, with the construction coming, Andy, that we do the dirt work with the construction and save the money as much as we can.
Let's explore that timeline. Are we on TxDOT's docket yet or schedule for a start?
Not until,
I
not until
called
the
in.
property is acquired.
I'm sorry, I called in because being a contractor, and I'm really disappointed with you, Andy, as far as knowing that I've done a lot of the construction work out here, that you choose 3 other different contractors and not
Okay,
talk.
that's-
Okay, I'll save that.
Let's don't go there.
Okay, but to put this all together, you're not focused on what they're trying to pull together on this. I guess what I need to say is, you are telling these people that this dirt work is going to happen in a couple days. Well, not a couple days, August. Well, I talked to Alan Smith, because I am a contractor, and if anybody wants to look it up, it's called txdot.com. Pull up aviation. Nowhere is this airport in the scope for it to be done anytime soon.
We realize that.
But I'm just kind of like she's saying, what's the timeline? But I'm hearing Andy tell everybody August. It was June, now August. It still is not on the aviation scope yet.
Well, but that is what TxDOT has told us.
Well,
You're operating on what TxDOT has told you on the timeline.
Yes, ma'am.
But again, I come back to what is a safer situation than where we are now. And if we can save money in a reasonable time frame on the fill work that needs to occur, then it makes sense to me that we are showing intent that we're trying to get it rectified.
So-
I support Andy in that he is doing his job in looking at the rules and regs. We've hired him to do that. And it has caused us to have conversations that will only benefit the airport in the long run. So these are tough growing pains, but I believe that if we show intent that we're going to fill that in and move forward when construction starts, that we're better off than what we're doing right now.
Okay, so are you saying move the gliders and the tow planes back into the grass and continue landing airplanes on the concrete at the same time?
I'm saying find a way to be operating safer than we are currently. And I don't believe having stationary gliders on an active asphalt or concrete runway is a safe process.
Everybody agrees with that statement.
That's why my request is to cause them to act like other airplanes and move off the runway.
To taxi.
When it's their turn, they go back. Meaning, if they're not going, what our local rule says